How y'all doing? Officially live and we're streaming. All right, gonna send out my links right quick. Okay. How you doing, kings and queens? Welcome to the Market Open live stream. If you have any questions today about crypto or stocks, leave them in the live chat box, John. That way I can answer it as soon as I possibly can. Yeah, I got a couple of interesting things that I found today that we will talk about, and we'll kind of just hop right into it. First, still learning kind of how the layout of this is going to go, so work with me, I guess. Give me some feedback as you can. Doesn't look like anyone's in just yet, so probably end up redoing the intro, which I need more practice anyway, right? So, all right, how you guys doing today? Gonna get started. That's not my intro. Let me just practice the intro again. How you doing? How you doing? Yeah, that's what it is. How you doing, kings and queens? Welcome, kings and queens. Welcome to Market Open Live. Oh, what a morning! What a morning! All right, first thing that I figure I'd do is just go over a couple of, or look at some of the coins and some of the stocks that, I guess are moving. Just take a look at a couple of the different sites and all. I did finally download the desktop version of Webull. So I'm going to have to get used to this. I haven't used Webull too often as far as for live trades. I usually use TD Ameritrade, but until I get a little bit better at privacy and all that, don't know if I want to do live trades yet. We're going to stick here. But as you can see, you have the different sectors, and you can see, well, it kind of looks like half and half right now, maybe a little bit more red than green. It's not terrible. As far as crypto, you can see that Bitcoin's bounced back a little bit. Ethereum did the same. Ethereum bounced back a bit. Binance Coin is going. Solana came back up a bit. And Cardano needs to wake up. I don't know what Cardano's doing. He needs to do something, though. Come on, puppy. Alright. We got about 13 minutes until market open. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the live chat. I'll get to them as soon as I see them, and as soon as I'm able to. A couple of things that I plan on going over today are a few news topics that I did find yesterday. Obviously not that hard to find. You can just do some searching. But that's what I'm making this channel for, is to try and make it as easy as possible to get some quick info, learn a little bit about trading and stocks and crypto, and just the resources that you can use on. It's really kind of just a hangout for me. So that way I can kind of go through my thoughts and hopefully help someone in the process. Let's see, we got not too much interesting going on right now. let's open up that one. Yeah, that's okay. Let's get this one on the screen. This is what I have on the screen. So we'll need this light on. All right, and we're learning. Oh, sorry, puppy. Okay, so now what you see on the screen is the source that I have, or resource that I use for trading. Wanted to bring this up. Figured go over a few things before market opens as we're waiting. I think I'm just kind of hanging out by myself right now, but I'll keep ranting and raving just so that if anyone is on, they can kind of hear me going through my paces. Let's see. Which ones do we want to see? Most active penny stocks. Why not look at the first one? You're so sweet, buddy. I got a little pit mix, by the way, so if you ever see me looking down or just talking like I'm talking to, some random stranger, it's my dog. Alright, see most active penny stocks. Let's see what we got here. Now, I'm just now getting back into stocks, so bear with me as I'm learning all of these names and everything. I'm much more well-versed in crypto as of late. Maybe these are too much of a glare. So another reason that I did want to do this channel is so that I can get more well-versed in all the streams of investing that I want to be in, or that I am in. And one of the big things is having that conversation and that back and forth. So now, just generally, when I'm clicking on this and I'm looking at the different penny stocks, one of the things when it comes to penny stocks is there anything considered, depending on who you talk to, anything considered or anything under $2 or $5 is considered a penny stock. As you can see here, they're mostly under a penny. It looks like penny stocks are typically going to be some of the most risky to invest in because they aren't going to have as much of a capital backing it. A lot of them are going to be at a loss in profit. Even if they are positive profit, they usually have short track records. I shouldn't be saying usually because some penny stocks are long-standing companies, but they're usually more volatile. That I'm confident in saying. Let's see what else we've got. I'm assuming these are probably the recovery stocks. Yep, so these are recovery stocks. Now, back in the early pandemic, before everything was big as far as the shots and all of that, that's when people were investing in Pfizer and Moderna when they were saying they were coming out with vaccines. That's these were considered to be some big recovery stocks to be in. At least a couple of them are or were. Looks like there's a little bit of a pullback. It's probably because of the variant. I'm assuming that people want to see what's happening. It's interesting. There's a crypto called Omnor, whatever they named this variant, and that apparently went up like 146% yesterday. That was pretty entertaining to me. Right, small cap stocks are going to be things that are, what do they consider it here? I want to say it's 5 billion or less. Maybe 10 billion or less. I'll have to relook that up, see what they consider small market cap. But that's interesting. The first one right here, Bitcoin Trust, Grayscale. Now, Grayscale, I'm sorry, I'm going to try not to touch my face. My nose is so itchy. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is one of the, I want to say first, if not largest, institutional money managers that got into Bitcoin. They have a few other cryptos on their balance sheet now. I think Cardano, Ethereum, I that they were looking to, if not bought Mana lately, Mana. But this one is one that let's put it this way. I'm not really buying stocks much lately, but I'm looking at which ones I do want to buy when I'm ready to buy stocks again. And this one's on my radar. I am day trading, or I should say swing trading a little bit, but it's nothing crazy. It's more so like a stock here and there just to kind of get my feet wet and remember what it's like to trade again, because it has been a while since I've done that. All right. I think my mom is watching, so Mom, if you can send me a text with any feedback if my lighting is okay. It looks a little darker than usual. I might have to open up my blinds more. How's my volume? Is everything looking and sounding good? Maybe my stretch is done today. Ooh. Alright, NEO is a stock that I'm in right now as far as a swing trade. I got it in a little bit higher than where it is, but that's the name of the game. I'm in it for a little bit more of a longer term. So I'm not too worried about it, but it's an EV and electric vehicles play. A lot of people think that it's going to be the next Tesla, or it's competing in that spot, but everyone's thinking that something's going to be next Tesla, next Bitcoin. It is an EV play. Do your own research, enter at your own risk. And I picked this one because I made money in Lucid, and I figured this one could do me some good. Looks like right now it's not doing anything too crazy. Why on the minute chart? Can't get the minute chart. That's not showing me. Okay, there we go. So it might be coming down a little bit. All right, so a lot of things were read yesterday, or not yesterday, last week with Thanksgiving. A lot of people were saying that there were sales and everything, so which I think is very true. Okay, looks like your comments in chat comes through. Cool, thank you, Mom. And yeah, so even Bitcoin, that I think taps like, what was it, 53,000. Ethereum hit the 3,000s again. There was a lot of sales going on the last few days. The other one I'm in right now is this right here, UEC. It's a uranium play. Oh, didn't I pick up the right one? No, it did not. There we go. Got 5 minutes till market open. This one too, same thing. I'm in it a little bit high, but I'm in it for the long term, and I've already made more money than I've lost in it. I played this one before and got some good returns. So this one, I think I'm in at about 479. It looks like. I believe I bought about here, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was the 8. Because I've been holding it for a little bit now. I did watch it go up to the 7. No, actually, this is where I made my money the first time. I made my money up in here, and then I saw it coming back down, and I was like, you know what? Let me grab a little bit, and I think I just grabbed a little bit too high when there was a. It looks like it was just a retracement, but it was actually a bigger pullback. So, but uranium, I believe, is going to be a big sector coming soon, or a big material coming soon, given that we're looking for clean energy, sustainable energy, and a lot of people they do believe in uranium, just there's a big narrative around it that is still bad, or still bad for the environment, which obviously if you let uranium out, yes, it is bad, but the way they're containing it now, supposedly it's a lot better than it used to be, and the life of them and stability of them while they're alive is much more reliable, so not as many meltdowns. Which, funny story, I used to swim it in the river, or lake, river? It was a river where 3 Mile Island is. I credit that to some of my loopiness. Let's see. Alright, what's the crypto looking like today before we open? We got 3 more minutes until market open. Let's check out some of the stuff I'm actually looking at. See how it's doing. All right, so this is interesting that, so these are the ones that I'm looking at but not in. Some of them I am in, but the reason you don't see Bitcoin and Ethereum on here is because I'm in those two. But it's interesting that these two are back to back. I do have both of these, but these are both exchange coins. And BNB, I remember this when it was at about the $1 to $5 range. I remember seeing it at 17. I said this last time, I believe. I remember seeing it at 25. I saw it at 75. I saw it at 200. Traded it a little bit, made some money, lost some money, made some more money, and now I'm in it again, and it looks like I'm up pretty good. But CRO has been making a whole lot of moves. Now, I've been using Crypto.com for a while now. There's a link in the description if you want to use Crypto.com. And I've been using their Visa. So every time I use their Visa, I get 1% CRO back. So I've doubled my money on this quite a few times, actually. And it just recently went from about 13 cents to 75 cents, which is astronomical. Now, I did sell mine a little bit too soon. I think I sold in the high 20s, maybe low 30s, because that's where the all-time high was the last time. But I bought back in, and I'm up again. I do believe that this might repeat something like what BNB had done. Let's look over here. Market's going to be open in just a minute. And you'll start seeing all these things flashing around once market does open, and my alarm's probably going to freak out. It's Monday. Is today? I don't think today. No, today's not a holiday. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting in front of my computer. All right. Once market does open, then we'll start getting into some of the other news that I have today. So now you'll see the screen starting to flicker a little bit as things change around. It might be on a delay, so maybe it won't flicker as much as other screens. If you were to see my TD chart right now, you would see that it is flickering pretty good. Yeah, there we go. Numbers are starting to run. Yeah, so this site's probably just on a delay, it looks like. Let's see what Tesla's looking like right now. Yep, there we go. All turns green. That's what I thought. It's pretty interesting seeing that, isn't it? Okay, Tesla's looking pretty good. It's coming up, not surprising at all. Let's see what Apple's at. Oh, Apple's going up too. I was just looking at it in the 40s. Oh, excuse me. All right, so the market looking like it's picking up pretty good today, which doesn't surprise me, especially after the way it was looking the other day. There we are. I'm in profit now on UEC, or not UEC, on NEO. UEC is already coming back up. Tesla, okay, everything's going to be going up pretty good, I'm pretty sure. Now, this isn't my actual watch list. This is, I will be showing my Webull stuff. Actually, let me log in off screen real quick. Because I don't really have much in Webull, so I don't care if you guys see it. When I say don't have much, I think there's like $25 in there. But at least we'll see the watch list I used to have. So this is a watch list that I made when COVID first kind of was happening and everything, and the airlines were coming back, and that's what we were expecting to see. So this is back when I was kind of planning how I wanted to make those gains in the dips. Some of these are more recent, so Airbnb is a little bit more recent, Palantir is a little bit more recent that I put on the watch list. Mind Medicine is one that's always been on my watch list, so I'll probably stay on there and I might get a position in there. I'm actually looking for a position, but it's been kind of going down lately. I don't have any positions right now. PMs, those are precious metals. If you hear me say PMs, that's usually what I'm referring to. Doesn't surprise me, they're mostly down right now. COVID hits mines and different precious metals sectors very hard, and especially with like the crypto market and the economy as a whole has been going. Precious metals hasn't been getting a lot of love lately. Rare earths is something that I am very bullish on. This one, I wish I was between a couple of things. I was between a mining company for precious metals, I think it was copper or silver, and I was between this right here. This right here would have gotten me a little bit more. I was looking at $1.60, $1.40. Never ended up putting anything in it, and the one I ended up getting into ended up losing me some money. I think like by 50% or something like that, because I forgot it was even in there. I hear you, buddy. So that's that on that. Les. At Kuma. Do sumo. Kushe. Kushe. Oh boy. Here's the puppy. Alright. Let's get into some news that's going on now. So I was looking up a few things over the weekend and then this morning too, so I could try and make sure I stayed on top of everything as much as possible and as soon as possible. And first thing I'll hit on is, I guess this is the first thing. Okay, so first thing I'll hit on is that AMC just recently partnered up with Sony. They're going to be making an NFT for Superman, the new release of the movie No Way Home. It's a pretty interesting release. It's going to be the first one that they're doing. Apparently, it may be for stockholders. I think it's just for ticket holders, though. If you are a ticket holder for this movie, you'll be getting a Spider-Man NFT. There's supposedly such an influx on the platform that the platform went down and there was a delay in processing effectively. So some tickets weren't able to be bought. But this could be big as far as what theaters are doing in the future. Bringing real life viewing and the digital world into things, so you're going to be getting collector's items effectively off of the tickets that you get. I think that's kind of what they're anticipating. So this is an interesting thing to keep an eye on. Wax is the platform that they're using. I was trying to look into it a little bit. I have to do a little bit more research into that. I don't believe this is the same as the coin Wax. Oh, excuse me. Oh. Hey, puppies. But I'm going to be looking into that because the coin that I have is WaxP. It's also an NFT and gaming token. I don't know if they are the same. But if they are, I do like that one. So the next thing, I'm just going to try and keep an eye on the charts and everything at the same time. Oh, you know what? Let me go over this real quick. You got to invest in what you love. And this is one I wish I had held. I bought them in the 50s, sold in the 60s or 70s, maybe even the 90s. But I wish I had held Starbucks because I love coffee, and you got to invest in the sectors that you are passionate about. Don't invest in things that you don't know anything about, or especially don't even use. I remember a friend of mine back in the day said that to me. So he invested in things like his plumbing equipment that he used to use, the refrigerator, LG, and things like that. He would invest in things that he knew and just happened to do well because there was a reason he was buying them. It's not always true, but he did do his research too. But just want to make that a quick point since I saw that Starbucks was looking pretty good. I saw that it was green on the TD chart over here, so I wanted to pull that up real quick. But another thing that I found was I mentioned this before, and I'm going to say it again. As far as meme coins are concerned, I'm not the biggest fan. Now, Avalanche, there was a Snow Dog meme coin, S-Dog, I think is what it was called. Yeah, and they were trying to be the first meme coin on Avalanche, and ended up having some special key that you needed to have this key in order to do any of the trades, so that way you weren't going to get rug pulled. There was no way of getting hacked or anything like that. However, you couldn't do a trade without this key, and it was being moved to an exchange that people weren't aware about at first, evidently. So this is basically an apology letter saying that the person that was in charge is no longer going to be in charge and it's getting handed off to somebody else. But just be very aware when you're looking at meme coins, especially. I don't believe in them. I think that most of them are rug pulls, and if they're trying to do something good, there are too many other meme coins out there that are just putting in a bad name or putting a bad name in for all of them, I believe. Now, that's just my own personal opinion. If you have meme coins or if you want to make money in meme coins, just do your own research. I might get in them here and there, but I won't always post about it because it might be quick just for some quick returns. But effectively, that's what happened. Here's where it was saying that this is their buyback that they were going to do. So effectively, they released this coin. It got up to like 6,000 and change, I think. And then what they were going to do is they were going to do a buyback so that you would get reward from the liquidity that they were releasing. So right before that was about to happen, it sounds like some inside trader or someone who was a part of the team, maybe. Now it doesn't sound like they're admitting that it was someone a part of the team. And also read this article because I could be interpreting this wrong, but it sounds like effectively someone who had that special key to be able to do trading took most of that liquidity. The amount is in here somewhere. They took a good chunk of that liquidity before it was even accessible for the buyback. I do believe it says in here the amount that was taken initially. Let's see if we can find it real quick. But it effectively was a rug pull. They did send an apology. They said that they're going to try and continue on with the project so that they can give back to those who did lose. Let's see, where is that number? But just be very careful whenever you're investing into any kind of meme coin or looking at any kind of meme coin. Maybe this is $10 million. Yeah, $10 million. Rug pull for $10 million. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right. Let's see. Quick. Tesla's up another 14, a couple of dollars here, another 15 cents here. And everything is looking good. Let's see what Ford is at. Ford is another one I wish I got into when I was originally into it back in the day. I used to work for Ford. It was at like $4 or something. This is not too long after the market crash, which my heart goes out for those who had Ford stock before the market crash, because that was one that really took a plummet. But that's looking like it could be moving soon, hopefully, if they get their act together with electric vehicles, just like every other company. And, it's a competitive space. A lot of it really has to come down to the fundamentals of their financials. If the companies don't start getting that in order, people are going to go to the companies that have that in order, and most of those are probably going to involve crypto. Just saying. Speaking of which, El Salvador buys another $100 when Bitcoin took a giant dip. So it was interesting. I was watching a video. So for about the $54,000 average is what they got. Another 100,000. Did I say $100,000 for Bitcoin? I meant 100 Bitcoin. They got another 100 Bitcoin at about $54,000. So that was at the 8% pullback. They were really taking this Black Friday sale to their advantage. Now, I was watching a video. I was hoping that I could find it when I was looking earlier, but I also didn't want to take too much time to play through the whole thing. It was very interesting listening to the Prime Minister of El Salvador talk about buying the Bitcoin and how I guess they're as a whole getting flack from other countries about doing this. And the response was basically saying that she says that Bitcoin, or their moves, if they're right, other countries will follow, and that it's going to effectively challenge the U.S. dollar and its supremacy over every other dollar. So I thought that was a pretty funny response because it's true. She didn't hold back when she said it either. It's almost like she was trying to find the right wording, and she's like, no, they're afraid. They're scared that Bitcoin is going to be the one to win and the U.S. dollar is going to be challenged because governments can't really do anything about Bitcoin, especially once it really takes off and other governments are in play as their reserve. So that's going to be an interesting thing. Another point that was brought up in the video was how we're working off of a couple of different currency bases now. Everyone is going off of a U.S.-backed or U.S. dollar-backed currency. Now people are using crypto-backed or Bitcoin-backed specifically. So that's going to pose some challenges, and that was another thing that she said is not only is it going to be challenges, but it's going to have to be a cooperation of the other governments to basically do exchanges in not Bitcoin, but to work with them as they're going through these changes and everything. I do think it's going to catch on. It's going to catch on with the smaller countries first, who have a little bit, who are able to risk a little bit more with things like this, because El Salvador, their financial situation hasn't been the greatest. So for them to do something like this is going to be beneficial for them in the long term, for sure. But once it does start getting into bigger and bigger countries, that's when we'll really start to see what's going to happen with the dollar. If the digital dollar does come out, how it comes out, and if people choose that over Bitcoin, or if it's just going to be kind of an even surface over all these different cryptocurrencies. But we'll find out. So this is going on like a trade market cap, coin market cap. Looks like everything is still pretty much holding the same since the market's open. Let's find out. That's basically the same. Thank you, I appreciate it, Mom, and you too. If you have any questions about crypto, put it in the chat and I'd be happy to answer them. Although I think I talk your ear off about crypto all the time. All right. Let's see. Oh, right. So, obviously everyone's saying that there's going to be or that there are competitors with Bitcoin and Ethereum. But one that's pretty interesting now, and a lot of people are getting more and more traction on, is Polygon. So Polygon, or Matic is the ticker. They were supposed to be an interface where people could build and use Ethereum, and or not an interface, but platform, program, protocol, whatever you want to call it, where they could use Ethereum and Polygon to build, to make it easier, to make gas fees cheaper, because Ethereum gas fees are pretty high. But what's happening is there's basically someone out there, not just someone, but people who are seeing that people who are using the Polygon chain aren't going between Polygon and Ethereum. They're pretty much just sticking with Polygon. And if you looked at it recently, it's been going through a long, you could say, consolidation phase. And within the last, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, it's been around the 120s to 170s range. And if it can go over the $2 range and hold, then we're going to maybe see this competitor of Ethereum not be using Ethereum anymore and become possibly a layer 1 instead of a layer 2/layer 1. It seems like it's kind of straddling both fields right now as far as being the two. So as I was reading through this yesterday, it's basically saying, it's the gas fees. It's trying to make gas fees cheaper. Ethereum did touch some lower lows, and it's also, they were talking about how Ethereum still looks like it's going to be more bullish if you put it up against Bitcoin. This is just showing the dips, showing how it did touch this band. Now, right in here, this is something that I've been learning lately, is it's good to have supports, but it's good to have support bands. So areas that you think something could fall through or between. If you have those, then it gives you a range of buying opportunity. When it's just a single support, to me, I started to notice that I was missing on buying opportunities, because once it crashed through that, I'm thinking it's going to keep going lower and lower, but not so much. I'm learning technical analysis as much as I can. But this is showing that it did hit that support, and it tested it, and it's going back up to hit the resistance at $45,000. And it's really holding strong toward that. As you can see, we're at about 43 right now. I believe it was. So being at $43,000, we're still showing that strength over those lows in that band. Like you can see that, which is 39 to 36. And then you start saying, when you put it up against Bitcoin to Ethereum, it's looking more bullish. So you can see before, Bitcoin was outrunning Ethereum greatly. Well, it did lose strength against Ethereum, and now Ethereum is looking really good against Bitcoin. So this is a bullish flag pattern starting. So as this starts to break out, this is basically indicating that in return on investment, Ethereum is going to do better than Bitcoin in the short term. Long term, I'm still more on the Bitcoin side, because it's finite and it's just meant to be more of a currency or a money. Ethereum is meant to be a protocol for people to build on, not necessarily a currency. So the comparison between the two, sorry if my volume, when I was just speaking then, was my volume too low? feel like I started to almost whisper there. But Ethereum's not really a currency. Ether is just a token that you use to be able to do things on the Ethereum blockchain. So I don't always agree with comparing Ethereum to Bitcoin, other than just tracking network growth, sort of. Again, two different purposes, but that's neither here nor there. And most people, as far as when they're talking about it, they're going to be looking for that anyway. So it doesn't matter what I think in that sense. Everything is still looking pretty good. Looking like it's holding now for market open. All right. Real quick, I'm just going to see. You know what? Yeah, let me get through these real quick. I'll get through these first. Oh, this will be a quick one. Okay, so this one's pretty quick. It's basically just there are a few different coins on the Ethereum blockchain that are in the NFT gaming space that people are really going towards. Massive laws are going towards. Mana is one. Sandbox is another. And Gala is another. These have all ran up pretty greatly in the last 24 hours, 7 days, 2 weeks. So, invest at your own, or put money into it at your own risk. But Mana is Decentraland. It's basically... it is a metaverse where you can build on the land. It reminds me almost like Sims, like when I was growing up. But you can buy parcels of land and sell them like it was real land in real life. So land in the metaverse is speculated to be one of the bigger plays coming up soon, maybe in the next few years. It is early right now. And also keep in mind that NFTs may be inflated. It's very new. They're still coming into their own as far as what the price means and what their use case is and everything. So when it comes to gaming, when it comes to virtual land and everything, it might be early. So we don't know. It could be like buying land in Manhattan, like some people are comparing it to, but at the same time, it could be a little too early for that and buying too high. Sandbox is a game, sort of like how Mana is, but Mana is more, I think, focusing on the metaverse of things, and Sandbox is more focused on the game of things. Now, I haven't played either of them, but Sandbox is relatively new. It's just went up like 500% in the last couple of weeks or so. It's at $7 now. I got into it at like $1 and change. I was selling on the way up, and I wish I hadn't, but hey, it is what it is. I still have some, and I'm happy about it. Gala is another one. I think I've made 50% on that so far. That one I don't know too much about. I just like the way the charts looked and the tokenomics. So do your own research as you're getting into these, but these are a couple of the ones that are being more heavily invested into in the gaming sector, or have been. So these have already ran. Let me just reiterate that. What did I have this up for? Did I not open up something? I don't think that's not. Oh, right, that's what I was searching for this. Okay. Oh, I just exited out of it. Darn it. Let me open that back up. Hopefully I can get to it quickly. So, but basically the article is talking about Thailand and how they are going to be... Yeah, there it is. It looks like another news article has come up since I've been in here. They're trying to attract new crypto millionaires. And this is, it sort of makes me think what El Salvador is doing, except they're focusing on tourism instead of their own citizens. Well, I mean, not saying they aren't focusing on their citizens, because this should do them good. But El Salvador is trying to make their infrastructure around Bitcoin. Thailand, it looks like they are trying to make it available for everyone to use Bitcoin if they would like to. Okay, that's what I thought. So in Thailand, effectively what they're doing is they're trying to make it more acceptable to use cryptocurrency, or to accept cryptocurrency. So they want to make their own token coming soon. And they're basically saying that all these people... Am I in the right one? No, I'm in the wrong. I clicked on the wrong thing. Let's try that again. So effectively, they want to be also making their own token that will benefit Thailand as a whole. But what they're trying to do is the people who have made... okay, it keeps opening up the other one. They want me to read this article, I guess. All the people who just became billionaires and millionaires, whatever, in crypto, they want to bring them in so that they can get their money flowing into their ecosystem, into their economy. So instead of going to Thailand and having to exchange for whatever they use over in Thailand, I'm going to be honest, I don't know what that currency is off the top of my head. But instead of doing that conversion, they're basically trying to make it easy so that when you go over there, you can just use the crypto that you already have. And then they'll, when it comes to exchanging crypto, if you do exchange in whatever current cryptocurrency they plan on making, it would be a lot easier than trying to go into one of their dollars because there's no crypto to their dollar bridge right now in an easy sense. So this is something that they're going to be rolling out. It looks like it's going to be in first quarter 2022 when they're going to try and start getting more and more people to come into the country. So pretty soon. But I think this is going to be also something that a lot of countries are going to be doing when it comes to their own digital dollar. They're going to be trying to make the conversion from regular cryptocurrency into their digital dollar easier. But I think a stipulation is getting it out is going to be harder. So we'll see how that happens. And, that's pretty much the news for today. Let's see what else is going on. There we go. Semiconductors is a market that I'm actually really bullish on. You see how it went up to the front. It was like personal care and all. Semiconductors. All right. Going to be going for about another 10-15 minutes. Just going to go over a couple of things before I do hop off. Where are you? There you are. Okay. So a couple of exchanges or brokerages that I use when it comes to crypto and stocks to make it easy. I'm going to run through these pretty quick just because links are in the description. Crypto.com is one. This is one that I have a Visa card for. I get paid back 1% in CRO every time I use it. I don't stake any CRO to get that card, so it was free for me to get it. It does hook up to the bank. When I was working in corporate world, I had my direct deposits go right into this account, so that way I could buy crypto and pay for things off of it pretty easily. And yes, of course, as you can see, Mark Wahlberg did a commercial for this. Or, yeah, it's Mark Wahlberg, right? No, that's Matt Damon. Matt Damon. Matt Damon. Whatever. Coinbase is another one. This is probably one of the bigger ones, or this is the bigger one when it comes to the easy on-ramps for crypto. I don't use it primarily. The fees are really high, and that's pretty much why. But there is a link in the description if you want to use it. It does have a lot of different options available. Some meme coins are on here too. But as far as user interface, this is going to be one of the most basic and easy to use, and you can transfer out of it into your own wallets. All of these you can. Besides Webull. Webull is one you can't, even though you can buy cryptos on there. You don't own those cryptos. BlockFi is another one that's more for long-term holdings. It's think of it more like your savings account. This one you can get interest on, so anywhere from I think it's like 1.5 to 8.6% interest, depending on the token you're holding or coin that you're holding. So if you're holding, I think it's GUSD gets the highest right now, and it's 8.6% ROI. So I've gotten enough from just leaving my money in here. Link in the description for all of these. And Webull is the one that I use right now for stocks, other than TD Ameritrade. TD Ameritrade just doesn't have a referral code, but feel free to go to TD Ameritrade, Thinkorswim if you want to use that platform. But Webull is one that you can buy stocks and crypto on, but just be mindful when you buy the crypto on here, you don't own the crypto. You can just track the asset. So if it goes up, you're making money. If it goes down, you're losing money. But you can't exchange your crypto from here into an external wallet. It's very important to know. And then this is a coin that someone asked me to look into. It's called Sin City. It's off of its high from the last 27 days by 25%. It's in the gaming and NFT space. Just wanted to touch on this real quick since I was asked about it. It kind of reminds me of Grand Theft Auto back in the day. It's a play to earn. But we'll see. It's, again, really early for these things, so this is one of those. If you want to throw some money in it, just do your own research and invest at your own risk. right, last thing I wanted to go over was just a couple of resources that I like to use when it comes to finding out which crypto I want to buy, or stock, but mostly crypto since that's what I'm looking into the most. If it's a DeFi play, then this is called DeFi Pulse. You can actually see how much of that crypto is locked away, meaning that people are holding on to it. They're expecting it to just go up. They have a lot of confidence in it. So you can see the amount of money, how much is increased per day, where it's locked away. And there are different tabs you can click on to make it more specific too. If you wanted to just look at lending, if you wanted to just look at the decentralized exchanges, if you wanted to just look at derivatives. But this is something that's very good if you want to start when you start looking at tokenomics to compare. Now this one, here it is. Okay, this one, Lunar Crush. This is more of the social engagement. This gives you the social, I guess, temperature. Did I just realize that? This lets you know like what other people are feeling about it. So you'll see the social volume, social engagement, social dominance, and it gives it a rating. So right now the top coin is Zinfin Network, and the thing is a lot of times I'll see some coins up here that are either meme coins or going to be on here for like half a second, and then they drop just because it's just looking at more or less trends socially. So a good thing to do here is when you're looking at your potential coin, if you find it on here, or if you find a coin on here, do research on it in the back end as well. You don't want to just look at something like this for the research. This is strictly emotion. Red Fox, though, is one that I'm kicking myself in the butt about. I saw this when it was under a penny, and I had confidence in it, but I just, because I had to use Uniswap and the amount of gas fees that it took to buy it, when I initially was looking at it, I didn't want to do it, and then I saw it get over a penny. It was at like 2-3 cents, and it was on an exchange that I did use, but I had everything put in different cryptocurrencies that I had confidence in, so I just didn't want to move anything around. The next thing you know, it started really, really blowing up. Now it's up a couple 100% in the last couple of months. So it is what it is. You win some, you win some more. Yahoo Finance is another one, especially when you go into the top performers of the day. You can also do top losers of the day, and then you can check different sectors, like I was going through in the beginning of the video. Different, we'll just stick with sectors. That'll be the easiest way to put it. I could say topics too, because of like things right here, but mostly revolves around sectors. Now this is something that I find very interesting, and it's just a good way to, at a 60,000 foot view, see how things kind of alternate every year. So where you made money last year may not be where you make money this year, and same thing going forward. So you can see how real estate investment trust, they made you some money a few years ago, but now they're at the bottom, or last year they were at the bottom of the chart. Or is this? No, this. Okay, this is as of June 2021. So small caps were the highest as of the most recent data from this chart, and that's what kind of made people the most money in the end of 2021 as things were getting figured out, or I should say right before 2020 hit. Before things were getting figured out, when startups and everything were really, really blowing up beforehand. So you know what I'm saying. I'm not going to get into this too much. I'll go into that kind of topic another time. I do want to go over some alt investments too. It was just I was getting stuck on a specific company, which I'm going to be talking about in a second right here. Large cap or more established companies. Again, I'll check out what they mean by large cap and small cap. I forget exactly what the number is. I think it's 10 billion, if I'm not mistaken, is the separator between large and small cap. International, obviously countries that are not in the United States. What do they call this? Asset allocation. This is basically just taking bits of different sectors and then putting it together. So they're saying if you were diversified, this is where you would have been, sort of. Emerging markets. Excuse me, these are going to be, again, sort of like small caps, things that are not quite growing, but it's not talking about stocks and specifically, it's talking about the market itself as a whole. High yields bonds, those are self-explanatory. Cash, self-explanatory, and high grade bonds, again, self-explanatory. But this is a good chart. something like this is good to look at when you're looking at your overall portfolio, because this kind of shows you how not one thing is going to be the same every year. You want to be diversified, but you want to be diversified in what makes you comfortable. Last thing I wanted to show was how another way to invest is with crowdfunding. So this is a friend of mine's company called Prep to Your Door. I used to work for them. I do have some money. Well, I guess you can see how much I have in there. I do have some money into this right now. On this website, or on this website, on this page, you can see everything that everything you would need to know about this company, from their valuation to how they've done the last few years to their mission statement and the problem they're trying to solve. So the problem that they're trying to solve is basically just the destruction of the soil. And not only that, but getting food into our bodies, and that is good and well-rounded with nutrition, basically. Now, nutrition isn't the primary focus for them. It is the sustainability in the back end. So this isn't meant for fitness trainers and stuff like that. But if you are someone who's looking for a plant-based diet, this is a good company to look for, especially if you're local, Austin, Houston area. Their food comes in glass jars, and you could basically just pour them out right into bowls, plates, and eat them. You could cook them if you wanted to, but most of the dishes I've eaten raw. Well, I shouldn't say raw, but I've eaten right out of the bowl without eating. So this site has everything that you want to know. I'll put this in the Discord, and I'll also drop this in the comments too, in case anyone is curious about this. But yeah, we're wrapping up to the last few minutes, I guess. I don't know. All right, yeah, I don't think I really have anything else to go over now. I think that wraps it all up. Let me just double check my notes. I think we're all good. Let's see. We talked about all that. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, the next thing would be just to go over some stocks and crypto if we really have any more questions. But I think, Mom, you're the only one here with me, so I can bug you about this stuff all day. I'll just run through some of the ones that I'm, or the top list right now. We'll just see what's going on in the overall market, and then we'll call it a day. All right. Oh, I didn't even mention this. It's, not that it really matters because it's the end of the video, but I have a Discord now, so if you're interested in joining the Discord so that you can be up to date on all of the info that's out there, or that I'm finding, and the Discord, as it grows, we're going to have more and more input, so we'll get more eyes on the markets too. So there's a link. I'll leave a link in the description for that if you are interested in joining that. Let's see what's going on. Looks like things are mostly in the green over the 24 hours. Yep. Anything interesting really happening? Solana's coming back a little bit. It was down up 10%. It was down under 200. Anytime it's under 200, I think it's a good buy. XRP, if you're okay with holding it during a lawsuit, I think that's a good buy under $1. Cardano, depending on how you feel about that, that's heavily discounted right now. Polkadot, another one that I have high conviction for, L1, L2, I think. It is heavily discounted from last week. I think my average in that is like $40, $42. Dogecoin, it's a new coin. What can you say about that? If you want to pick it up, now would be the time, I guess. Same thing with Shiba. I would probably wait for a little bit lower on that, but it's discounted. Avalanche is another one that I have higher conviction for. It's up on the 24 hours, but still down from its all-time high. I think it was all-time high is like 125, 134 maybe, something like that. Crypto.com, mentioned that earlier. I think that one's going to be a big one. I think that one is competitive with BNB right up here, which I missed that one. This one, another one I have high conviction for. It's up in 24 hours. Luna is another, Terra is another good one. What else we've got? Litecoin is a cheap one. If I ever do transactions, I want to send money quickly and cheap. I usually send Litecoin just because the transaction fees are low, but I don't usually hold too much of it. Polygon, that's the one we were talking about before, so it's at 170 right now. That's about where my buy-in is, 7% on in 24 hours. So I think it should be out of the consolidation phase. I think it should be having an uptrend pretty soon. Anytime Chainlink is down under $25 or under $20, I think it's a good buy. I think if you could get under 20 is even better, but right now it's still a good pullback from the all-time highs, which are in the 40s. Algo too, not too much new that's out for them, but as far as TA, a lot of people I know are following the charts for this on TA. So it could be a decent time, but again, do your own research. You might want to look for a pullback in that, even though it did just come off with one. Uniswap is discounted right now at $19, up 3% in the last 24 hours. This is one I was lucky to get the airdrop for that. I do still hold a little bit. Axie Infinity, that one's been holding at about 332, 335 for a while, 320s. So it's a gaming NFT play, one that really blew up. VeChain is one I have high conviction for. Elrond is another good one. Stellar, it's okay. I mean, do your own research, just not too much with them. But VeChain is going to be looking at supply chain. I think that they will be a big competitor in that. They're about the only competitor in that right now. As far as basically tracking to make sure that everything in supply chain is done properly and accounted for correctly. Adam, I have to do more research into this. I do hear more talk around it. I remember looking into it a long time ago. I just can't remember what it is right off the top of my head. Internet computer. I think, what's the word? I don't think they want to be quantum computing, but they want to be like automated computing of some sort. But yeah, everything's looking more green than before. Here's Decentraland, as I mentioned earlier. Fade is another one that I like. It's like YouTube except decentralized. I do want to be doing my streams and broadcasts on there as soon as I can. Sandbox 708, Gala 67 cents. It was just at like 23 cents a week or so ago. Yeah. All right. I think that's about it though. So appreciate you watching. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll hit them as quickly as I possibly can. Join the Discord if you would like, and we'll be able to get all the feedback and infos that we would ever want. And before I start rambling on, appreciate you hanging out with me, Mom, because I think you were the only one this whole time. All right.